Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie and this is Katie's Paranormal. I know it's been a long time since I've made a video. Of course, everybody knows life has been crazy. Everybody is going through their own issues and problems in life, so it's been kind of rough. Mental health kind of took a toll for a while there. But I'm back and I'm excited to start making some new videos. I actually wanted to start a Storytime series over my paranormal experiences. So if you guys like that idea, of course, hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, and let me know if you want to hear, more stories that I've experienced as I've grown up and the things that have made me want to become a paranormal investigator, and why I am so into the paranormal field and why I just love all that stuff. So today I'm actually going to start part 1 of this series, and I'm going to talk about one of my first biggest paranormal experiences that I didn't realize was paranormal until years later. But it's something that's still, it's just one of those things and experiences that will just never leave your head. And it was kind of one of the big things that made me want to be a paranormal investigator. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into that story. Okay, so my first paranormal experience was back around 2007, 2008. I was about 12 to 13 years old. It was actually here in Kansas. It was at our first house we were renting, and we had moved from Arizona to Kansas, and this house was just built. I mean, all of the land around it was still all completely mud. There was no grass, nothing. It was just mud, concrete, and then new houses. So our house was one of the first 2 that were built there, and there were absolutely no houses around us. Anyway, so it's a one-story home, pretty comfortable, not big, not too little. Obviously, brand new, it was just put up. No reason for a house to be haunted, right? We were living there for a few months before we started experiencing anything, or at least before I was experiencing anything. I was in about 7th and 8th grade, and when I was going to school here, obviously, from moving from Arizona and the environment that I was around, living down there. If you guys have lived in Arizona, I lived around the Sierra Vista area. But when I moved from Arizona to here, of course, I looked pretty different from everyone else. I was kind of going through that kind of gothic scene phase where I was just wearing all black all the time and eyeliner, and that was just, my thing. And so, oh my gosh. And so I had made friends with these groups of people who ended up not being very good people at all. So I ended up having them as friends, and then things happened to where then I was being severely bullied by these people, and I'm talking about 8 people bullying one small girl. I'm sorry. So the first couple of months of us living here, it was completely fine. I was kind of out of place because of the place that I had lived in before. I was from Sierra Vista, Arizona, and then I came here. And of course, coming from that environment, coming from a big city, is a lot different to coming to Kansas in a small town, where everybody has, the same thinking process, and everyone's just very conservative and completely different from people in the big city, which I'm sure a lot of people understand how small town people are compared to people in a big city. It's very diverse. Anyway, so kind of by the time of 8th grade, I came in the middle of 7th grade, and by the time of 8th grade, I was dealing with a lot of bullying, and it got pretty bad to the point that I was being constantly harassed while at school. While I was at home, my phone would be blowing up all the time. My IM messenger, if you guys know what that is, every time I was on it, somebody would make a new account and harass me. And it was still this same small group of people. You know, my parents tried to deal with it. The school didn't care. The police department didn't care. So there's not really any point in talking about that. But I started to become extremely severely depressed, having to deal with the severe bullying, and feeling like I wasn't even safe in my home because these people knew where I lived. And they would constantly ding dong ditch the house, and it's just like, it was just a very dark place for me. I really felt like it was just like hell for me every single day. So when I was dealing with this and I was getting really depressed, and I would never want to leave my room, like right when I would come home, I would just go straight to my room. And that's literally like all I remember from that point and period of time was school and my bedroom. So after that kind of stuff started happening and it got pretty severe to the point that, you know, you just kind of, you know, there's just like all those dark thoughts and things that you experience and go through and think about. You know, this was like months and months of depression and sleeping constantly and feeling like no one cared. And it got pretty dark for me. Pretty dark for a 12-year-old to go through. And absolutely crazy that no one did anything. But it all first started, the paranormal experiences all first started, I started to notice them when I would be emptying the dishwasher. It was like my one main chore that I always had to do. And I would always catch glimpses of shadows out of my peripheral while I was emptying the dishwasher. And where the kitchen is and you're emptying the dishwasher, to the right of me would be the hallway and the living room kind of like behind me. And then we had a double sliding door that was like connected to the back door, even though it was kind of on the side of the house. So I would always see black shadows pass by me, and I figured it was just like some crows or something like that. So I just, you know, rubbed that off. But then it kind of started to happen every single day and multiple times a day, and it just didn't feel right. Sometimes I would go out to the sliding door or open the door to see if I could see any birds or hear them, and I never saw crows. But that's what I assumed it was, so I kind of rubbed that off a little bit. It kind of started to spook me a tiny bit because it was just weird. But yeah, and then I would just hear like tiny little noises here and there, you know, nothing that really seemed like nothing to worry about, just like, you know, things that, you know, house noises and stuff like that. So my first actual paranormal experience in this house was one night I had gotten up really late. I think I was still awake, you know, because it was really hard for me to fall asleep during that time of everything going on. And I got up to get a drink of water, and of course, you know, this was back before I was ever scared of anything in the dark. I would walk through the house with no lights on, no care, no fear of anything or anyone being in the dark. And you know, it's a short hallway. So I walked from the hallway, got a drink of water, drank it in the kitchen, and then I put the glass back down. And when I was coming back through the kitchen and through the hallway, right when I had passed the threshold of the like kitchen doorway and the hallway, I had felt a tug on the back of my shirt. And the tug I guess I just heard a noise in here. Okay. But when I felt a tug, it wasn't like a quick little, you know. Seriously? I keep hearing little noises as I talk about this, of course. And of course our haunted mirror is literally right behind the camera. Anyway, so the tug that I felt, it wasn't like a little quick tug like as if my clothes got caught in something. It felt like something had grabbed my collar, and my collar was extended back. And it was pulled enough mid-stride of me walking that I had stepped back to catch myself. And as I stepped back, the back of my collar had snapped back, and, you know, as if it had gotten caught by something. You know, at first, you know, I thought it was my hair, but it wasn't. It was up in a bun. And I touched my whole back, and I keep hearing little noises behind the camera. And I keep hearing like little plastic. Like little tiny crinkling. I get it. I know you're here. So I had never experienced anything like that before, so I kind of just rubbed it off. You know, I turned around. I didn't see anything. Like, I wasn't fearful. I've never experienced anything like that before, and I didn't really care. So, you know, I ended up going back to my room. Thought nothing of it. Okay, my recorder just turned off, so hopefully I didn't lose any footage there of anything I was talking about, because I keep hearing little noises and then my camera stops recording. So anyway, the scariest part about that house was I had a paranormal experience. This was like a little while later, like as my depression just got worse and worse and worse, to the point that immediately when I would go home, I would fall asleep and I would stay in my bed and I would sleep for like 14 hours a day. And I wouldn't eat or anything like that. It got pretty bad. Anyway, so I woke up and I had woken up in the middle of the night, and I mean, it was pitch black. Like, I didn't sleep with a nightlight, anything like that. I wasn't afraid of anything in the dark, nothing like that. And then with all the depression and everything, like, you know how you are. I hope my camera is picking that noise up. It was literally quiet in here until I started talking about this. Oh no. I have my bag of crystals in here that I'm going to hold. Keep it on my lap. Anyway, so I had woken up in the middle of the night, you know, of course, pitch black. I can't remember why I had woken up. I think I had just woken up because I had heard the noises. And when I had woken up, it sounded like knocking. So what I heard was, if I'm right here and this is my bed and the hallway is in front of me, like on the other side of the wall, the kitchen and living room are this way. It sounded like knocking all the way over there on the other corner of the house, which is like over the garage. And it sounded like loud knocking. And as I was starting to wake up and get out of this drowsiness, when I started waking up more and getting out of that drowsy state of just waking up in the middle of the night, it sounded like the knocking was getting louder and closer. And of course that was really freaking, really creepy. So, you know, I woke up really fast hearing knocking because I was thinking it was knocking on the front door or something like that. And as I woke up and sat up, it sounded like, I started to realize that it sounded like footsteps. Like someone was walking towards me very loudly, like stomping. And then as I had sat up and I was wide awake now, completely freaked out in the dark, then it sounded like somebody was running from that corner of the house to my room. And the closer that it got, the louder it got. It was almost deafening. Like it was the only thing, like it was like as if it was in the room. Again, chills just thinking about it. Anyway, so when I realized that it was the sound of what it sounded like, someone in the attic or on the roof running, and it got louder and louder and louder. And I'm sorry guys, it took me a long time to forget about it. Anyway, so when I realized that it was very loud stomping, almost running, like as if when I was younger, I thought it was like a man in boots. That's what it sounded like to me. And once I realized that the noise was getting so much louder and more deafening, and it sounded like it was coming right on top of my ceiling, I threw myself out of bed and I ran out of the room screaming and crying to my mother. Now, when this was all happening, my dad was deployed and he was in Iraq. So when my mother, mother home alone with her children, her young children, wakes up to that, it's pretty terrifying. She ended up checking the house and seeing that no one was there. And it took me like an hour to be able to go back to sleep. I was so terrified. And I did actually end up falling asleep in my mother's bed. And I did end up sleeping with her for a long time. I know I did it for, I know it was at least maybe days, if not weeks, that I was sleeping in her bed because I was too terrified to sleep in my own bed after that. Other things that I experienced, I did experience little noises here and there. Like when I was taking a shower all the time, it sounded like every night that I would take a shower, it sounded like the bathroom cupboards were opening and shutting constantly as I took a shower. And it freaked me out so much that I would literally have the shower curtain completely open every time I took a shower. And I would just clean up all the water that got on the floor and the side of the tub. And that's the only way I could shower. I wouldn't even lock the bathroom door. I was so scared. I also experienced things falling out of my closet shelf, the top shelf. I always left it open because I would just like stuff everything in there. One time I was cleaning up my room and a karaoke machine that I was given, literally seconds after I moved out of the way, had fallen out of the closet. But had it didn't just like, see, I feel like if it was from it being unbalanced or something or too heavy, it would have just fallen because it's very heavy. But it kind of fell this way and hit my bed and then slammed onto the floor, which I thought was always kind of odd, and the fact that I was just standing there. Also, I had a family member have an experience when I wasn't home. I can't remember where I was. But she had walked into my bedroom, and when she did, a book had flown across the room and hit the wall. And anyway, that had like really freaked her out. And then she and I think that was the point to where she believed me and everyone else started to believe me. So, nothing too crazy that I remember happened after that. It was just little annoying things, things to keep me scared and to where I couldn't sleep. And I felt like it was kind of draining me all the time of everything. So anyways, my dad did end up coming back from deployment. I think he was deployed for almost a year. And when he came back, I actually didn't know this until I think a couple months ago when my mother had told me. When he had came home, Mom had told him the things that had happened, and he actually climbed up into the attic. And the attic that we had, like most attics nowadays, you can't walk in them at all. And so he went up there to make sure that there was no sign of anybody being up there, living up there, anything. And I guess our attic also had an outdoor access, kind of like a vent or something, a little door that could be, you know, a pretty small box, but if somebody really wanted to squeeze through there, they could. But he didn't find any, like, where somebody had broken it open or anything like that. No evidence of anybody being up there. And there's no way for him to even be able to stand up. So me experiencing someone running across the ceiling like that is completely impossible for a human being to do. So I think that's when I realized that what I had experienced was, you know, it was real, and it wasn't human. It wasn't. And sometimes I still, like, think, like, you know, was I dreaming? Was this a nightmare? Like, but it wasn't. It's just the craziest thing because you don't know how to explain it. And it's just something that happened to you that you don't really talk about because there's no reason for it to happen, so it makes you feel crazy. So it was earlier this year. I can't remember where I saw this or who I saw it from, but it was a paranormal investigation. And, you know, they were getting a lot of dark entities and demons over their EVPs and things like that. And they were hearing walking. And it was really loud. And at first they thought it was boots. But then they said that it sounded like hooves. Like the hooves of a horse or something. And one of them put it together that, you know, it could be this certain demon who apparently is a goat and has hooves and walks on 2 feet. And when I heard that sound play over what they were recording, it literally sounded exactly the same. Exactly. And it gave me chills over my entire body when I realized that what I could have been hearing was hooves of a demon running across my ceiling. And it just, like, explains so much from everything that happened to me to the way that I feel, and kind of, you know, researching, you know, what they do, these negative entities do to you, and how they make you feel, and how they try to make sure you're constantly scared, and that, you know, your fear and your depression and everything just feeds them, and they love it. Because there's no reason, besides, you know, just life being shitty, there's no reason for me to feel that way. I was put on antidepressant meds. Those didn't work. Nothing worked. No matter what I did, nothing worked. I would have one good day every once in a while, and that was it. And just to come to that realization that that's what that could have been is so terrifying to me. And you want to know the freakier part is the fact that we did end up moving out shortly after my dad came back from deployment. And my mother bought a house. And our house, which I'm currently sitting in right now, is literally only a street away from the house. A street. I can literally see the house through the bathroom window. And when we moved here, I was a little on edge because the fact that our new house was so close. But I was also very excited to move because I felt like I was going to have this fresh start and those things were going to stop. And, you know, this was also another brand new house. Of course, there were people that were living in it beforehand, where some crazy things had happened. So if you guys want to hear about that, that's definitely worth another story time. So we were the second family to live here. And I thought that us living here and moving here was going to be the end of it, but it wasn't. My paranormal experiences did not stop. They actually got more increased. And the craziest things, I've literally, probably the second most craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life has happened in this house when I was home alone. And I've shared videos on my TikTok and on my YouTube here. You guys can find some security footage. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll find some security footage of orbs that we've caught in the house from our motion cameras. And yeah, this house is not comfortable. You know, I can't be downstairs or anywhere that's not my room after 10 p.m. It's that uncomfortable, and I feel like whatever was at that house is now downstairs and is here in this house. Anyways, so that's all for that first story time. If you guys really like that story time and you guys want to hear the paranormal experiences that happened here at this house, definitely comment. Let me know what you guys thought. Your opinions of what I experienced, what that could have been. That would be great. But yeah, so if you guys like the story time, hit like, comment below if you want to hear part 2 of what happened here in this house. There's plenty of things that have happened in this house, and plenty of other experiences that I experienced living in my mother-in-law's house that she said that did not happen until I moved in. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and I hope we have a great New Year, because man, 2020 has sucked. So I really hope 2021 just blesses all of us, because I cannot take any more negativity. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing good out there. Love y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I wanted to go ahead and show you guys the mirror. This is the same mirror in one of my security footage videos where we actually caught an orb and what seemed to be eyes being left in the orb's trail. This mirror, we lived in a fifth wheel right next to her house, and this is actually the mirror that we got, and I think she said she got it from a thrift store. We did paint it white. It was originally brown. We painted it white and we kind of made it look a little distressed, but this mirror was put in as a bathroom mirror in that house, and I did take it out because I did love it so much. It is here in my mother's beauty room because I didn't have a place to put it. But yeah, I have done an EVP session where, I've had spirits say that nothing is attached to this mirror. And, but I've seen orbs go through it, and they've said that it isn't a portal. But I think that was a lie so that we wouldn't get rid of the mirror, because we were talking about getting rid of the mirror. So if you guys want me to do a whole EVP session and everything with this mirror, let me know. And if you guys get any vibes off this mirror, let me know, because I don't like to look into this mirror at all. Because I feel like my eyes don't look like my eyes in this mirror. So if you guys want me to do that, definitely comment down below. I'm totally up for that, to do a whole paranormal investigation just on this mirror. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys later.